Hello, everybody, and welcome to our CCA broadcast here on SplatoonTourney. My name is Falco Flyer. I am joined here with Keon and Toma tonight for the CCA Division 3 playoffs. Let's get started. Keon, welcome to the mic. We are happy to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well tonight. Thank you for having me, Falco. Also, huge shouts to staff who's not able to make it. Hopefully, I give the CCA playoffs some justice. I hope you two are doing well today as well.
And Toma, how are we doing tonight on this fine Sunday night? We have a wonderful doubleheader for you guys.
Absolutely, Falco. As usual, I am just absolutely thrilled to be here. Really excited for the CCA playoffs actions that we have here for you tonight. Of course, two teams that have battled it out long and hard throughout the CCA season to claim their spots here. So who's going to stay alive in this tournament? I'm excited to find out.
That's right. It's going to be UT Knoxville, Utopian Tidal Krakens versus the EaUCD Splatoon White team. The Krakens ending their regular season 5-0. Splatoon White ending 4-1. So they're going to go head-to-head in a best-of-9 set. Let's take a look at the rosters. Keon and Toma, I'm going to hand this off to you guys for the rest of the set.
Yep, and I'll take it from here. Toma here. So EaUCD Splatoon White is your second place team coming out of Group 1 specifically, and Utopian Tidal Krakens, as mentioned, out of UT Knoxville, is first place out of Group 4, so we get to see these two teams go at it. I actually did cover Splatoon White a couple weeks ago, actually. I think they were playing against Egg Spaghetti. This should be a lot of fun. UCD Splatoon White should be able to give Utopian Tidal Kraken, as I like to say, a run of their money here, Toma.
Absolutely, and I think we over here at SplatoonTourney covered UT Knoxville back a couple of weeks ago. It's all coming back to me. I was like, beforehand, I was like, what was this? And then I remembered Kareki's crazy beacon jumps that went on. I was like, yeah, that's the team. But they're going to be starting it out here on Undertow Rainmaker. And of course, Keon, this map got a few reworks within the recent patch. The biggest thing in that upper left-hand corner where you see a lot of pushes go, that big choke point that was previously uninkable is now inkable, which is going to make pushes through there dangerously fast. And we're going to see what they're going to be loading out here with.
I'm gonna be excited to see what Splatoon White and Utopian Tidal Kraken, as you noted before, with this map being reworked, what they dish out right out of the gate. Took me a few seconds for me to realize that a treasure is on the board, so pretty much anything will go at this point. And that is a blue Devils from UT Knoxville from Yep. That is a reef slider. All right then.
You know, that reef slider can be a little bit dangerous, especially if you've got a Rainmaker and you can't, dodge anything coming out. Ready to see what they're doing here right now, as it looks like our EaUCD has control of the Rainmaker right now. Going to be trying to get out there, is going up that left-hand side, but taken out rather quickly, not able to find that break. Yeah, just got stopped big time there on that left-hand side, and just not much movement right out of the gate. I'm actually willing to see how this one plays out there, as UCD Splatoon White already taking speed. They should be able to get the first checkpoint, no problem. Unless a flying Trizuka just flies across the screen and just takes out a few more members. It wasn't enough to stop the checkpoint, but it buys themselves a little bit more time, and that restarter is able to get one more out of the picture, and this should be a successful stop. But more importantly, the first checkpoint cleared for UCD Splatoon White. And to your point, though, I love to see how this match kind of played out there. UCD Splatoon White getting that first push right out of the gate. Love to see if that Blue Devils can do a lot in this particular match. And Fabi here with a great aggression coming around and able to pick off one of the members through that cubby, now forcing Knoxville back super far. That Rainmaker is going to reset in their hands, exploding, adding a lot of orange paint down to this map. The Blaster here just keeping a lot of space, distracting on the right-hand side, which allows Wishy-Washy there to make some progress up the left-hand side. It's going to extend their lead at just a few points, I think, there, but not going to have anything substantial to follow up with until one jumps in and gets that Rainmaker pop. They're now here in this inkable surface to try to add some more points to their score, just trying to dodge that heavy edit there, who is able to look down at them. It looks like Knoxville is maybe getting this under control here now, forcing back that last player from EaUCD Splatoon White. Now they're going to have control of this Rainmaker, and they're going to be able to try to get a push going themselves.
I love that Yep at least tried to do their best to stop UCD Splatoon White in their tracks. Just wasn't enough, but in the grand scheme of things, they're able to get a few more out of it. But as you noted before, this is a good time for Utopian Title Krakens to see if they can push up ahead. They had the Trizuka, they just popped out earlier there, but they are surrounded by the rest of UCD Splatoon White. One of the members, it has gone a little deep there on that side, able to escape from what it appears so far. And this seems to be a pretty successful hold from UCD Splatoon White right out of the gate there. Trizuka gets one right on that side. It takes out Yep on those blue dapples by the end of things. And it looks like the Utopian Title Kraken's not able to get a little bit more out of this one. It looks like they're just kind of stalled out there for now. 2:15 left on the clock here, Toma. This is Utopian Title Kraken still having a little bit of difficulty making it to that first checkpoint.
Yes, they are, and it's no small part in due to Splatoon White's great defenses. We've seen them kind of pincer in on that Rainmaker, splitting up members of Knoxville's attacking force and making sure that they can isolate members. As you see here, though, now Kareki's going to make sure that's not the case right now. Going to be going in for this Rainmaker pop. They have a hammer ready to go at hand, too. Spec is trying to clear this left-hand side with the Zuka, is able to pick out one, but it looks like somewhere behind, once again, Splatoon White's able to dive in and take care of that Rainmaker while members of Knoxville were separated.
Yeah, rest of Knoxville, as you mentioned, was separated. They still are leaving Jim uncontested. Gets a trade there at by the end of things. They're able to take out two members out of UT Knoxville, make that a delayed 3. So UCD Splatoon White doing a really good job holding down the line as much as they can, and they do have a decent lead. And they're doing a really good job, as you noted before, with their defenses. Each time that Utopian Title Krakens try to make the push, they get stalled, whether it's just by applying Trizuka or just through getting pretty much invading into their backside. Utopian Title Krakens is having a rough go at it. Love to see if they can take advantage of the 2 special there. Reside, I believe, just got popped, and they do have the Ultra Stamp that was there. Cooler also dished out as well. They can play a little bit more aggressive. They take 2 members out of UCD Splatoon White. I believe the Crab, the Crab has just been popped from Jim, so they are going to be slowing down this push by a tiny bit more, but only for a few seconds, and this will be Spec picking up this Rainmaker after they take out 3 by the end of it.
Yeah, Kareki's going to be clearing out that left-hand side. They do have to watch out for that Tri-Stringer who's trying to shoot down at the Rainmaker, but it looks like Spec may have the opportunity to be able to get the dunk here. They do, and they have a Zuka to be able to try to follow up, but unfortunately going to be taken down before they're able to pop that out. Now just about 30 seconds left. Here on the timer, you see that UT Knoxville does have control over here. They have the cooler up as well. They just kind of need to get around this corner here, but they're not going to be able to do so right now. They have 12 seconds to try to get this back up. Kareki doing all they can to pick up that Rainmaker, get the pop on it. The Toxic Mist goes out on the Rainmaker to try to slow things down, and there goes Foppy down onto the Rainmaker to secure it for Splatoon White.
So many chances, it felt like, from Utopian Title Krakens, just trying to be able to get a few more points on the board, but just stalled big time by Splatoon White's defenses there. We saw that one of the members just trying to dive deep, trying to separate out the rest of Splatoon White as much as they can, Toma. But by the end of it, they just weren't able to clear out enough space. Splatoon White's response just completely kicked into gear at that point, and from the Utopian Title Kraken side, they had to jump in. They had to make the jump in order to at least still try to get a few more points, but just a little bit of hesitation. I feel like they were trying to respect Splatoon White's defense there, but time ran out on them. And then when it hit around less than 10 seconds, all you gotta do is just pick it up and then secure it for yourself. It's just well played overall from Splatoon White.
Absolutely, and I mean, UT Knoxville, I think that we saw a little bit of a struggle for them for most of that first part of the game, but once they got that momentum under their wings, you know, they were really able to roll with it. I think especially Kareki was really key in carving those pass out for them on that left-hand side and trying to get some space for them. Almost worked there at the end, but, you know, Splatoon White was able to just mount one defense at the right time, and that's kind of all that it matters. That's all it comes down to. Keon, you can have all the good pushes in the world, but one stop is all that it takes, especially when you're ticking down all the way to overtime.
Yeah, and by the end of it, you're basically having to play catch up a little bit too, as you noted. If you have one really solid defensive stop, and especially with where that Rainmaker is placed the entire way through, it's gonna be easy for you to just get yourself set up. Make sure you can space out the rest of the team. In this case, Utopian Title Krakens from pushing it further. So that's how that one ends. We look at the brackets so far, as we alluded to. Winner of this one taking on CSU will be Black. But hey, there's still a few more maps to go. Both teams, I imagine, wanting to win that round 1 set so far, and the other one being Egg Spaghetti and Bull Shark, still yet to be determined result wise.
Absolutely, and you know, as me and Saf say all the time, the first few matches, they're kind of, you're out here scouting, you're trying to figure out what the opponent is going to do, you're figuring out how to adapt to it. And by no means is the UT Knoxville out of this set yet. We saw a really strong show of force for them at the end. So they're still here, they're still in it to win it. They just have to find a way, I think, to deal with the defensive power that Splatoon White has. Because like I said, every time that UT Knoxville got separated from each other, one of them got a little bit too far away from that Rainmaker. Splatoon White was able to find a way in. They were able to find those splats, and that's going to matter here in these stops. Looking at Clam Blitz coming up here next on Museum, if you've got a Power Clam user and you leave them isolated, you're not helping them carve a path through, you're going to find that Power Clam user to be splatted faster than you know it. There goes your opportunity to score. They just have to find a way to coordinate themselves just a little bit better and make sure that they're watching each other's flanks.
And that's going to be the key thing here is how do they adjust leading into this map. And I do already see it's a lot of weapon adjustments across the board. I would like to say dueling dualies effectively there. One is your vanilla dualies, of course, with the order skin applied, and on the other side are the Enberry dualies with the triple splashdown. Don't mind this choice overall, but Utopian Tidal Krakens is just kind of going to be going forefront for the most part. They're going to try to play in your face, a little bit more aggressive, I'd imagine, with this group. But on the other side for UCD Splatoon White, almost very similar. Range Blaster, though, if you let that Range Blaster fly through and get themselves the space they need, that could be very punishing. So Utopian Tidal Krakens has to respect that for pretty much a good chunk of this game.
They sure do, and they really need to keep ink down on this mid, but that suction bomb onto the Crab King going to be putting an early end to that special. Now they're trying to pick UT Knoxville out of that splashdown. They are able to do it, but take a trade in the process. We kind of say all the time here that Clam Blitz is a little bit of team deathmatch till you find the space, till you find those clams, be able to make that push, and no one really has decisive control yet of this game.
Yeah, we do see a nice little double there on top of things. They're from what appears to be, yes, Jim, that they just spun out the power climb. So as you mentioned, gained that nice little double, which led into the 3-down situation. Pretty much meant that UT Knoxville now they gotta get this all set up, and that's where the danger comes. They're gonna be outranged a lot, and they have to respect it the entire way through. Nightbloom just using the crab to clear out the space, but it looks like they're still gonna wait just a tiny bit more. So trying to find their opening as much as they can. Burst bombs are there, but they are able to take out two. There's another crab tank being popped, but this time on the side of Utopian Tidal Kraken, they may be able to hold this one successfully. UCD Splatoon White still need a few more seconds to push in.
They're trying to get in there right now, and it looks like, unfortunately, they aren't going to be able to find that basket pop, Kyon. I think that one of the plays there, you saw that crab tank holding that power clam, and unfortunately, when that power clam is in the hands of your crab tank, you can't really move forward under that space that the crab is creating to be able to get a dunk. So that really kind of slowed down Splatoon White and gave an opportunity for Knoxville to get their defensive forces up. Now we see on the flip side here that Knoxville is ready to try to get a push going here, but they don't have the players forward here at the second, especially as Splatoon White is able to pick off two of them. Going to be forcing this power clam back here into mid, trying to make the jump back home. They do get across as Koreki stalls out a little time, and now they have a crab tank to try to wait for a while for these jumps to get back in so they can fight for mid once again. But neither team able to find a dunk here in this first half of the game means that here in the second half, you know, every action, every push is going to be that much more important.
Absolutely right on that one, because you know with the timer still ticking down, you got to now start respecting the space and what UCD Splatoon White has to throw at them. I'll say Utopian Tidal Kraken, though, as I mentioned before, they're going very forefront here, so you got to still continue to respect as much range. Don't get yourself caught up in such a bad position. UCD Splatoon White takes out a delayed 3, but there is no power clam that is available just yet. They're still trying to gather up a few more. So at the end of the day, there's just the rest of Utopian Tidal Krakens still spawning in. They can still get themselves set up back on defenses once more. UCD Splatoon White will have to do this a few more times. Yep, not going down once more. It's just the 6 clams, but they do have a huge clam economy. They just got to find the opening at this stage, but there's no specials. I'd imagine they're just weighing it for the right time with this Trizuka. Maybe this will be the one to use. Maybe this Trizuka, if they can find value, will be the go, but in this case, it doesn't look like that will be the case so far. Just pretty much a trade of 1-for-1. Now 2. The range match has gone down, but there's the push here, Toma.
There it was, absolutely, and I think that range blaster, you know, it said it went down, but it created a key opening there on that block, just poking forward and trying to get some chip damage on to the members of Knoxville to be able to find their way in. But now you've got a minute remaining. You've got UT Knoxville with a power clam on their side, and that wasn't a big score from the side of Splatoon White. It can be easily surpassed if UT Knoxville is able to get here to the clam basket, but that's a matter of if they're going to be able to. You already see one member there, as I say, gets a double think there behind, just finding space to get here in the mid and push back the members of Knoxville like Splatoon White has been doing so well. You do have Knoxville kind of recovering there a bit, but then unfortunately, as soon as I say that, a little bit of commentator's curse going down to a Trizuka, and now just feeding there into the one player here, getting a pick, getting a wipeout, and they're going to be able to get another score. Foppy getting some excellent picks there.
Yeah, some excellent picks on top of it, and if this power clam comes in, it's going to be absolutely devastating for Utopian Title Krakens there. They're still waiting for they're still being a little patient with this power clam as much as possible. In fact, the opening could be there, but wisely retreating in this one. This is going to allow the Bitty Clam, we like to say, to spawn in with about 3 seconds left to go. Now Utopian Title Krakens, no specials online other than the Trizuka that just came online and the triple splashdown. These have to be expertly played. If anything, if Utopian Title Krakens wants to have a chance, the Trizuka finds one. That's the range blaster going down. The Zap goes out on top of it. They take 3 out. This has to be the go button for them. As Koreki's getting painted all over the board. This is the first flush as the triple splashdown. Now to clear out the space there. 74 points remain. They're still throwing in some clans, but it's not going to be enough so far. 4 isn't going to be enough to get the lead either, and they don't have the space to make this one count as the jumps are unfortunately going to get punished. Utopian Title Krakens' last breath didn't have enough clams within them, and Toma got a little scared for Splatoon White. Splatoon White takes it home, and they get a 2-0 lead here in the set.
Yeah, and I mean, just kind of like we saw last game, is you can't count UT Knoxville out just because you're nearing that end of the game. It was quite a respectable push there at the end, but unfortunately just falling a little bit short, all because that power clam not able to quite find contact with the basket in time. And it's those small little mistakes that can add up and cause a game to fall away like that there. But really, really close here. We see this last push shaping together. Koreki coming here and getting some vital picks to getting a score on the board, finding one there. You see just Foppy left up, who's been an absolute beast on the side of Splatoon White, is able to get the pick on to Koreki. And I think there, that splashdown just so unfortunately makes them drop that ball, and then it's just out of reach. You see some power clams going in here. If that power clam had found its way to the basket, it would have been spelled a different ending to this game.
I mean, at that point, though, UT Knoxville just had to play catch up the entire way through there. When you're having to play from behind, and as you noted, just a little unfortunate with the ball being dropped. I get the idea behind the triple splashdown too. So just trying to get some painting down there, if anything, to clear out the rest of UCD Splatoon White. But there just wasn't enough backup, and by the time that triple splashdown lands, everybody's just gone with it, and that power claim effectively is gone at that stage. So again, 2 straight games in a row. We see UT Knoxville try to get a last minute push and almost succeeds, but just goes a little bit short once that timer hits. So if they can get that cleaned up earlier there for UT Knoxville, that will be a good sign for them, because we have seen signs of life so far at the end of those games. It's just one of those cases where too little too late here, Toma.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love to see these games of Clam Blitz, especially now that we are missing a certain special from the lineup that makes these a little bit more engaging to be going forward with. And it keeps them both alive in these games a lot better. But what I want to see here, Splat Zone's Robo Robin, this can be a really lockout heavy map, Keon. Once you have control of that zone, if you can push forward into your opponent's base, it can be really hard to break back out without certain retake specials. And I think that the thing we need to see right now on UT Knoxville is that they need to be able to match Splatoon White's speed. We've seen time and time again that when Splatoon White pushes forward, they are going all in. And they are getting super far up into the territory of UT Knoxville. That's been creating a lot of problems for them. I'm especially looking at Foppy, who's been kind of a bit of an all-star right now on the side of Splatoon White and creating those really good openings for their team. And even whenever you have Knoxville, you know, take advantage of a wipe or 3-down scenario onto Splatoon White, they are back and they're defending before Knoxville is kind of able to get up into that objective area. So it's really looking out for that speed and making sure, hey, we know that we have a man advantage right now. We need to take full, you know, not accountability. What's the word I'm thinking of? It's escaping my mind. It's been a long day.
I'm with you on that one, and I definitely see where you're trying to go with that there. So I'd like to see what the counter is on that front. The Bloblobber makes an appearance. Hello there. Bloblobber from Yak this go around. It's almost a wholesale change from UT Knoxville for the most part, but they do keep that order splash shot effectively in that lineup. I don't mind that pick whatsoever. On the side of Splatoon White, they got the Slosh Machine, and hey, Pencil makes its appearance for the first time in this set, so you got a lot of painting, you got the coolers available there if they can take advantage. We are already starting off with a brawl on both sides. UT Knoxville with the early advantage so far. They are going to get the lead off of this. If that Trizuka finds out, that should help their lead, but it looks like it will have to wait just a few more seconds. So far, things are looking good for the UT Knoxville here, Toma.
They are, but look right now, you needed people forward to help with Kreki. Kreki was kind of forced to jump back off and circle back around to the zone with no one quite there to push up with them. That's going to give space for Splatoon White to come back in, cap that zone with that Booyah, and be able to take some more space here. Now we're going to see what they're going to do here with that man advantage, with the zone advantage. Right now, they're choosing not to go quite yet. They realize that UT Knoxville has respawned and has this Tacticooler at the ready as well. They know that the specials are about to be coming out, so now's not quite the time to be making any risky plays. They do take control of the lead there. They are now looking for those good picks, able to find one onto the Tri-Slosher, still able to hold on to this zone, but they're just weeding out special after special from UT Knoxville, who seems to just keep on having them right now, giving no space for giving no space for Splatoon White to move forward into their territory. Knoxville now in a great position. You already see Koreki's up there. Unfortunately, goes down to a bomb. So Spec's gonna back up a little bit further up that ramp, but still staying here, ready to just apply as much pressure as they can to Splatoon White's offense coming back in. That Booyah Bomb is gonna take control of this zone once again, and now UT Knoxville gonna have to wait for a few more specials to get back online to try to get a retake again.
The coordination really needs to be there for UT Knoxville at this stage, because they're losing members left and right, because two of them are trying to play very aggressive, trying to see if they can find members of Splatoon White. But we noted it before that the defenses have been very firm. They're still trying to make this one count there. So let's see if a Trizuka, if anything, gets some sort of value, or the Bloblobber can get them from range. But UCD Splatoon White wants to have none of that. In fact, they get the wipeout on top of this. This is going to clear them out of the penalty points. They are now taking down these actual points remain, and they got two specials that they can take to their advantage. Coolers just got deployed. They have a Booyah Bomb at the ready to absolutely make sure that UT Knoxville has no chances to move up. They're going to throw it on that side. Now they clear out all the specials. There's going to be no movement. The shot has gone down on top of this, and that will be UCD Splatoon White. They're up 3-0 in this set here, Toma. Looked really good for UT Knoxville, just ran out of gas midway through.
Absolutely, like you said, I mean, they had really good ideas. I think that, you know, when they got control of that zone, you saw Spec and Kareki forward. Those were the right positions for them to be in, but sometimes just an unfortunate bomb death, one you don't see behind you or just comes up suddenly, can spell the difference between a really good push and one that unfortunately just fizzles out. And that's kind of the scenario that we saw happen there. Looking into this replay near here at the end of this, you've got Splatoon White in such a strong lockout position, and they are not giving up that space, able to push in onto Kareki for that full wipe. And see how Wishy-Washy just sets up here with open sight lines into the rest of Knoxville's base. You've got the blaster poking up at every entry option that they can potentially take. Knoxville is doing the right thing, using that Bloblobber and using bombs to try to just find chip damage and try to get their way back out, since they didn't have all these specials online. And yep, tries to come in for that flank, does get one pick, but unfortunately just not enough time left on that timer to be able to take advantage of that and cap the zone.
And I feel like UT Knoxville has had a lot of really good ideas. You noted there before, where they tried to make a lot of stuff happen, trying to play very aggressive. You know, there to just an unfortunate bomb on top of it. And I feel like they're trying to go back to that strategy where, okay, let's see if we can catch anybody from UCD White out of position. What we have seen so far is that UCD Splatoon White has stayed together. They try to make sure that they're in the right place at the right time whenever they needed to make sure that they can stay alive as much as they can. Yes, there were a few fights where, hey, if you were in a 2 or 3 down, we have to give up the zone. No problem, get themselves reset it back here, Thomas. So UT Knoxville, they again, it feels like it's three straight maps in a row. Good ideas, just the execution either too late or just not refined. I feel like there's gonna be one. I feel like this upcoming map is gonna be pivotal for them, because if they lose it, of course, 4-0, we'd be talking a reverse sweep scenario at that stage. That can be very tough to come back from.
Absolutely. I agree with you there, Keon. And, you know, it's a shaky situation. Regardless, you've got that mental aspect of it. Even if they take that game here, now you're going to immediately be going back into modes that were previously won by Splatoon White in mostly a pretty convincing fashion. So it's quite the uphill battle right now that UT Knoxville is facing. But like I always say, you do that one game at a time. You can't let that idea of, hey, we lost here, hey, this is their strong mode, get to you, because if you think that way, well, then you might as well just write off the set, because it's already finished at that point if that's the way you've got the attitude about it. But now is really the time for them to lock down, strategize, think about, hey, what's been working for us and what do we need to adapt? Because these kind of mid-set adaptations are what makes or breaks teams' runs here. We've seen that UT Knoxville is obviously capable of really good, strong pushes and really great plays, but I think it's just finding that coordination at the right time, and some of that comes, like I said before in the last game, with having that kind of speed and confidence that Splatoon White has at the moment. We do see that they know how to make the plays on the side of Knoxville. We just need to see them have the confidence to execute it.
Definitely, and I'm seeing the change here from Utopian Tidal Krakens. A couple maps ago, we saw them play a very aggressive comp with almost 4 shooters or 4 front. I like to call it each time. It's almost the same idea here. They're going with the splash. They got of course the effectively a splash shot, if you will, and the 10 attack on top of things. The 10 attack splash shot specifically. So they got trip strikes, they got a cooler, and they got Trizuka and the crab. They got a lot of ways to get you from range and get a little bit of clearance, but they have to take advantage of being in your face with a lot of them. I'm noting that they are 4 front right now. I'm not going to ignore the fact that Splatoon White also has a Luna Blaster, which actually does make sense in the grand scheme of things, given the map mode. I want to see that Luna Blaster can get some value with the first, but right now, this first push is going to UT Knoxville.
They are able to get this first checkpoint here, maybe under their belt, but in the Luna Blaster coming in and trying to say, hey, no, you thought you had that, but I'm going to put a stop to it. Now 2 down on the side of Knoxville. You've just got one player up here forced to jump out. Hammer Rogue going to go all the way back to base. And now this map flipping yellow in the blink of an eye. You already see Nightbloom here taking control and taking advantage of the Utopian Tidal Krakens and oh my gosh, bunker. That's the word. I'm like, it's a B word. I'm like, is it bracket? Is it like barricade? Who knows? They are able to get control of that, but look how fast UT Knoxville responds to that. They've got that crab tank out. They're able to stop that. That first checkpoint does fall, but ultimately we both know here on that checkpoint, not super relevant here on this map. Pretty easy to break. It's really going to be that second checkpoint that we look at to see who's going to make the difference here in this map.
Second, you're absolutely correct. Second checkpoint leaning into the streets, where things is where we get to see who has a distinct advantage versus the other at this stage. And as you know, with the first checkpoint not being important, the first checkpoint finally clears out for UT Knoxville. One of the things I will give UT Knoxville credit for is the fact they're going to be playing very aggressive here, but they also have to respect, again, the same idea as before. They have to respect the range. There is a Tri-Share and a Luna Blast that can just be in your face the entire way through, so you have to still respect those members as much as you can. UCD Splatoon White, though, they pretty much have specials that can pretty much spread out the rest of UT Knoxville from trying to kickstart their offense or make any of this work. But if UCD Splatoon White can keep this up so far, they might be able to approach that second checkpoint. They take 2 members out just like that. Yep is still trying to lurk large, trying to see if they can make a surprise move. Jim just thinks otherwise, and this will be a stop for about a few seconds.
Yeah, they are able to get here at this second checkpoint. looking like they may be able to find the break. Jen here is just trying to dance this tower pole, but is going to be forced off. There is going to be no checkpoint break for the side of Splatoon White. That is a really good defense for the side of UT Knoxville, who now can breathe a little easy knowing that if they get back to that spot, they are going to have to reattempt that checkpoint from its full value, that they aren't just going to be able to blaze right through it and keep scoring once again. But they really have to establish some presence in mid, because they can't be content with just defending. They still have to find a lead here on this map right now. You see Krakens trying to carve that path out for them, but is struggling right now against this combination of that zap and the dualies that we're just doing so good at holding down mid. And you can see really that it looks like Splatoon White isn't really in all that much of a hurry to get for our super far out and far up the base of UT Knoxville, because they know that they don't want to go down, they don't want to wipe. That's the worst case scenario for them at the moment, especially with the way that Knoxville now is there pushing into their bunker, going to be able to find one, forcing the Tri-Stringer back and getting a splat onto them too. The Crab Tank comes out as well as the Tri-Strikes. This may be a potential lead flip. They just need to watch Froppy there, our Foppy there on the side. They're 1 point away here, Keon, from being able to take the lead. It's just Spec there, but is it going to be able to find it? 51 to 52. Splatoon White is holding onto the lead for now.
I feel like I'm watching this entire set just kind of play out the same way in the first two maps. UT Knoxville feels like a few more seconds, and then they pretty much leave the tower just to respect the members of UCD Splatoon White, who are just trying to corral in and make sure they don't get the lead off of this. And now things are just going disastrous the other direction. There is UCD Splatoon White. They got a lot of control now on the side of UT Knoxville Street and everybody else. They did push a little too far, but the most important thing that they got is that second checkpoint that's been cleared. They got 22 seconds left on the clock, but here's the problem though. That's a wipeout. They can get themselves set up big time there. They got 3 painters on the board. They can reassert control mid and then get the specials ready to go. This is gonna be the key thing you're gonna look out for. They got a Crab, they got a Trizuka that they can use at the ready. Yep's there on the flank. Yeah, Yep is able to get Night Bloom. That's one huge break. Yep gets the second one. They take out the zap. They finally take out Yep by the look of things there. Hammer Row is right in the Crab tank, but someone's gonna touch the tower here. Bobby is doing their best, and they did just that again. So close from UT Knoxville, but the X factor from Splatoon White. Bobby strikes again. It's a 4-0 set lead. Match point is coming up for Splatoon White.
I am telling you, Foppy time and time again has been the star player out of Splatoon White. They have been the key to those really insane openings on just getting pick after pick and allowing Splatoon White to move forward. And there you saw a very, very scary moment there at the end, which we'll be seeing playing out here. As once again, Knoxville is trying to move forward. I think, unfortunately, since that tower is so far back, they really can't take advantageous positions on that left-hand side, which is kind of what allows Foppy to exist over there. The Tri-Stringer adds some pressure. Yep, does find some nice picks onto the 2 painting weapons, more painting weapons that are kind of frontline and more aggressive, allowing them to create a little bit of space. But that Zuka, unfortunately, just missing Foppy barely, is going to spell the end for Knoxville's push there. And wowie, Keon, what a game.
That I felt like UT Knoxville, they definitely needed that map for sure, because now they're in reverse sweep territory, one map at a time, if they even want to have a chance to get back into this set. Again, they almost had the right idea, is to build up the advantage and make sure to set up the Crab and the Trizuka for success. Try to see if they can find a few picks. I feel like they had to pop that Crab in the tower at that exact point in time, even though Yep got 2, because he needed to secure the tower leading up to that second checkpoint. But once you leave Foppy uncontested, it's just GG well played. It almost feels like you got to move on to the next map and then understand we have to win the next 5. The good news here, Toma, is it's Humpback Pump Check Rainmaker, where leads can change in a hurry. So if UT Knoxville ever is at a point where they're going to be down big, they can so quickly crawl back. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yeb goes back to that Tri-Slosher Devo. It's actually not a bad choice for this particular map, but they have to also understand we got to find something strategically wise or weapon wise to get us that first map win here in the set.
Yeah, they absolutely do need to. And like you said, this is a map where those leads change in an instant if you end up wiping or in a really bad situation, especially after those checkpoints have fallen. If you're able to defend it, you might be able to catch a break if you wipe. because they'll have to drop it, repop, and that buys you a little bit of time to respawn. But that being said too, another really key important aspect is making sure that you have those coolers up at the right time as well. So I'm going to be interested to see what these two teams are bringing out for their cooler options. We've seen, you know, a variety. We've seen Zap, we've seen Heavy Edit, we've seen Pencil. Basically every cooler weapon that you're going to see in this current meta, we have seen so far. And I think that a key to that, like I said, is going to make sure you have that out at the right time, because you want to get back in super duper fast on this map in particular, since it really just kind of has a tendency to be one of those snowbally maps, and no small part in due to just the way the geometry is on this map, right, Keon? Because you've got so many ledges, you've got all this round area. Like you said, the Tri-Slosher Nouveau is a great pick here because it can kind of just poke up and over a lot of this area that maybe your shooters aren't quite able to reach, aren't able to put quite as much pressure on. We don't see the Tri-Slosher Nouveau over on either side, but we do see blasters and buckets, and if this is a blaster and bucket map, you know, absolutely. And we saw the power of the Luna on the side of Splatoon White, so we're going to see it just shift a little bit over to the side of Knoxville, who's going to be opting to run the Luna Neo instead.
That's an Ultra Stamp the Luna Blaster. Probably the right Luna Blaster, honestly, for this particular map mode, because I feel like you got a few ideas there. You can use the blaster, take advantage of the map geometry, as you alluded to, then use the Ultra Stamp probably to most likely carve out a path that they needed at that point in time. So I love some of these changes that are coming here from UT Knoxville, but I need to know how this Ball Bobber is gonna get his most advantage. I'd imagine this is gonna be useful pretty much across the map from the other side, trying to see if they can pretty much make sure that Splatoon White is able to not move much forward. But at this stage, though, it's just 4 points remaining, and that's a pick on the spec. At the very least, it's a 2-down situation for UT Knoxville. Splatoon White should be able to pop this Rainmaker. In fact, they're going to pick this one up right away. Lead changed. That's to be expected. 1 minute has passed in. We should be seeing the first checkpoint here coming up soon, and they will.
Yes, it is. There it goes. And now you're just in a good old-fashioned game of Splatoon 2 with your Splatoon White, and he can just run straight forward past there now without ever having to worry about dropping that Rainmaker again. And this machine, look how great it's moving forward, how it's using that map geometry to its advantage. It has the Booyah out as well, trying to create some space, but no one quite ready to pick up the Rainmaker on the side of Splatoon White. Gonna give a little bit of space for Knoxville to work on that defense, get out. It looks like Spec found a nice pick there in the pit, and they're able to get some more purple paint down here in mid, but they need to find some picks before they can really start moving forward, and unfortunately not gonna be working out in their favor as they lose their dualies.
Yeah, losing their duelists is gonna slow things down just a tiny bit more, but they are able to get 2 members out of this one. Jim just caught them by surprise. Yes, they did lose three of their own, but they did slow down the push just a tiny bit for UT Knoxville. That is gonna be enough to reset the defenses here for Splatoon White, which they have done a great job all set long. So want to see if UT Knoxville has a counter. There's Yep, by the way, that just popped the crab tank from the other side. Koreki almost had the right idea, trying to use the Ultra Sand to make sure that they can move on to the second layer after you cut the checkpoint. The problem is, though, they have not cleared up the checkpoint whatsoever. They lose 3 on top of this, and Koreki's still trying to play very aggressively up to Poppy, and then Poppy just pops the Booyah Bomb. This is just gonna be a quick escape from Koreki, excuse me. But by the end of this, though, UT Knoxville still not able to get the first checkpoint.
No, they are not. In fact, they're going to be trying to stay alive, but unfortunately going down there in that little pit as the Rainmaker resets, Splatoon White is holding a strong form here in mid, and you can see that they're just kind of working around this map, getting as much yellow paint down as possible. Wishy-Washy's poking up into Knoxville Street there just to keep as much paint and pressure onto UT Knoxville as possible and try to deny them as much entry opportunities as they can to go down. Koreki's stuck a little bit awkwardly there in that pit, forced to jump out, and now once again we're seeing a push shape up on the side of Splatoon White. Wishy-Washy there finds a nice pick with the Rainmaker, trying to create some more pressure over these ledges, waiting until it's safer to move forward. You do have 1 or 2 members there of UT Knoxville Knoxville pushing into them though. It looks like they may find the wipe here, a little bit delayed, and now Krakens just gonna be pushing forward as fast as they can. They know that Yak's got this Rainmaker pop in their back pocket. They're gonna be moving up here, just waiting for this crab tank to clear the way. 2 down. This is where we can see the lead flip. This is that kind of dangerous situation we were talking about.
Yes, and they should be able to get the lead here. All they gotta do is just pick up the Rainmaker and move a little bit forward. They do get the lead, and that's gonna be huge with the amount of time that's left on the clock. But here's the problem, though. They can't get themselves wiped out too quick. Yep, it's just trying to be a one-man machine deep into their base. Not sure if that would be the wisest decision to make at that point in time. And that wipeout is gonna signal the end of this push. Big thing for UCD Splatoon White, though, is that's not a huge lead by any metric. If they can get the push reset up once more, that's gonna be critical. But they lose 3 on top of this, and this is correct. Can they get the pick? It's a trade, at least the delayed wipe, and UT Knoxville is holding strong. 30 seconds left. All they gotta do is either get a lot more points on the board to at least give themselves a bigger cushion, or play defense for the next 25 seconds. Toma, this is gonna be a very tense finish coming up.
Yeah, and right now Yep is able to pick down and find one. Foppy, though, does drop into that pit, is able to trade it off. Yep, though, look, finding another pick here. It's 2 down on the side of Splatoon White. This is looking to be a bad situation for them. The crab tank is going to come out, poking down this blaster, but the blaster gets the pick. They need to pick up this Rainmaker, though, and get going forward. They jump in, and they die as soon as they pick it up. That is going to be the game, and this is putting UT Knoxville here on the board, staying alive in this set.
I feel like this is the understatement of the set so far, Toma. They needed this win, and boy, they needed that sooner rather than later, because 1 minute left to go on the clock is where things just broke wide open at that point. I was worried if that wipeout was going to swing it back the other direction, but UT Knoxville got their defenses reset when they needed to, and in the final remaining seconds, we're actually going to be seeing the game-winning push here, and they actually have the Ultra Stand, which, by the way, early in the screen takes out the range blaster. They use the crab tank to clear out the space, which was very smart. So this means that UCD Splatoon White cannot move forward, and the rest of UT Knoxville can just continue to pressure them out as much as they can. All that Yak need to do, pick up the Rainmaker and just try to move forward. And this Booyah Bomb at least was clutch enough to avoid this from going way out of control on top of everything there. And Yep was just trying to be a one-man army. I noted it there before, which is just there to buy more time. But that push alone, getting the pick onto the range blaster and setting that crab tank to the checkpoint was super smart, because knowing their win conditions, and they importantly keep this set alive.
Absolutely, and you know, they waited for just the right moment to do it as well. Expertly played by UT Knoxville, and now we're moving back into Clam Blitz. And if we recall, Hyun, this that game, they had it all the way down to overtime, and it literally came down to that splashdown, dropping the power clam and not being able to add it to the basket. That was the difference between winning and losing on this map. This was not one of the modes where we saw just an absolute sweep from the side of Splatoon White. So you know that UT Knoxville, a little bit of wind in their sails now, maybe feeling a lot more confident in bringing this back to win clams the second time around.
And the most important thing about how this set has progressed here, Toma, is a lot of these losses that UT Knoxville had were very close losses. In either the final minute or just one attempted push, they either just fell a bit short when the timer just ran out on them, or UCD with Splatoon White was able to clamp down on defense when they needed to. These were not complete blowout victories by any metric there, so there is still a lot of life there. UT Knoxville should still feel comfortable leading, hey, we can still take a map out of this. We can hopefully, but we got to take it one map at a time. And at this stage for Splatoon White, it's just trying to get yourself reset. You gotta figure out, all right, we had a lot of success so far with some of these pushes. I know UT Knoxville has been giving us a lot of problems so far, but we've been able to stand firm. How do you do it in a Barnacle and Dime Clam Blitz map, which can get pretty stally for a good chunk of this map because of how everything is laid out?
Yeah, I think you gotta really look at your special coordination. I mean, like I joked a little bit after the last Clam Blitz game, you know, you don't have the savior Kraken to come in and just get a free push under that basket anymore. For maps like Museum and, you know, Barnacle, this is kind of how we used to see teams create those openings to be able to push forward. And now you've got to be a little bit more thoughtful with how you're allocating your specials and where you're placing them to get that space. I think we're going to be looking for, you know, especially with these two blasters, looking to get them set up underneath that basket and maybe trying to send, you know, one of the shooters or something with a little bit more range and consistent fire up that ramp to that left-hand side and just create additional pressure and try to take some space if possible. But right now, they're loading out into mid. Like I always say, it's team deathmatch time, Keon.
And in my words, always the clan gathering phase, or as you noted, team deathmatch, just trying to see who can get the advantage here and build up those clans. So I love to see how basically the two comps, which I believe are virtually unchanged, or if anything, one weapon was swapped. Or a few weapons swapped out from UCD Splatoon White plays out here. UT Knoxville probably has a sense of, wait, we may have found something that could actually work for us here, and it so far seems to be the case because they take out three members just like that. But here's the Trizuka. Can that Trizuka get some important value? Doesn't seem like they'll be the case. They do dish out that cooler there. They are gonna, however, just wait a tiny bit, wait for the right moment to strike, see if they can find a few picks. As that Poppy, most important Booyah Bomb, they're trying to buy themselves a little bit more time, but the barrier is still broken anyway. That's the first push right out of the gate for UT Knoxville. Wobble there from Jack, not able to get the second one in. This is just a one and done push from what it appears to be. But the problem here for UCD Splatoon White is they went 2 down. They can't push themselves a little further up until that point. So nice start at least for UT Knoxville, but don't say that's a lead just yet. That's just a one and done push.
Yes, it was Keon, and now you've got Splatoon White here. They've got that Booyah Bomb, the blaster, and it's trying to create some space along with the zap there. And now Puppy there on the machine too, just creating everything was being thrown there, kind of that little walkway, and it's Keon. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on.
I can cover for you.
There's everything just launched here at, I don't even know what this is called. I'm like, call outs in my mind are like just flashing by my head. Everything is mush at the moment, but Splatoon White is doing a great job at holding this space. I think right now they just need to find one extra thing to get in the way in. The blaster's trying to poke, but they don't really have as much space claiming specials as the side of Knoxville does. It's really just this Booyah Bomb.
Yeah, and just Booyah Bomb, however, built themselves enough space, and now it's a 3-down situation. Their Spec not able to save the defenses. This should be the lead change for sure, and they're going to be getting a lot of clams in. That's going to be they're going to break this down to 59 points remaining. So at least they get the most important. They would get the most important push of the that they needed. But they go 3 down. At that point, Poppy still just trying to lurk large, but they're not even going to try to push themselves up a little bit further. So you noted there too, kind of a bit of a hectic match so far. Barnacle Time Clans, words that are usually correct as well, but they don't normally lead to pushes this early on here, Toma. So both teams are just trying to play as aggressive as they can. The Trizuka does the fabled Trizuka moment, takes out the Rage Blaster from out of Pamperino's side. But they go 2 down by the end of things. Still a very hectic take onto mid. No one really having total control just yet. UCD Splatoon White is gonna be. They're gonna try to see if they can try to push themselves up a little bit further. They do have a good advantage. It's 2 down so far. Toma, 2 power clams. This could be a huge push coming up here from Splatoon White if they can find the space.
Yeah, and they're trying to do that. The range blaster, they're going to get an excellent pick to provide them with the opportunity to Foppy there, getting a good trade with Koreki to be able to break that basket. They do have an extra power clam there, but it wasn't quite able to find its way to basket. Jim is just left up there in the corner, going to be picked off by Yep. And now it's going to create the opportunity, just a minute left here in this game, for UT Knoxville to try to get another push going. It's definitely still possible here, but they've got to get this space down. Koreki there on the Luna Blaster, going to provide an opening, but as soon as I say that, Foppy going to be taking the trade there for their teammate, knocking down Koreki. It's just the Zuka left up online, which does find one, but they are going to be kind of stuck up here. It doesn't look like they will be able to save that power clam in time either, and now that's a lot of their potential score just gone in the blink of an eye.
And the most important thing they got to do is find any space that they can. Fortunately, we just saw the Tri-Slash renewal. They had a cooler that was available, and they just lost it just like that. They're going to have to repaint it once more. And I need to see if UT Knoxville has one more push left in the tank. They got 25 seconds left to do so. Dooley's just went down. It's so staggered 2 down from the thick of things. All they need to do is hold defense, and Koreki trying to make a push with the Ultra Stamp by trying to eliminate the 2 to no success. They get shut down by themselves more, but still, no, they got one power clam that is available from UT Knoxville's end, but all they gotta do is find that push in and try to make sure that UCD Splatoon White is locked out. They will go into OT at the very least. They take 2 members out, just like that. Yep, with a critical pick. They do take out a few members, but this is gonna be stalled out just a few by a few more. This is gonna be a slow march in, which is buying UCD Splatoon White a lot of time to get the defenses up, and unfortunately, Toma, what we just saw was a desperation toss that did not find the marker there. UT Knoxville, on their last breath, tried to make this push happen, but they are donezo. They are gone. UCD Splatoon White will take this at home 5-1. They'll move on to the next round.
Unfortunate there at the end. You saw that Flower Clam just barely miss. And the fight there was so good, but I think unfortunately, you know, you saw some trades or some unfortunate picks there on the side of UT Knoxville, and just wasn't the time you could afford to go down. It was kind of, you got to throw it all on the line, and you've got to win in that moment, and the cards just didn't align. The players, they had the right idea, spec pushing up here, they had to do it. It was make it or break it. That it was all that they had left. Yep, getting in there, but then unfortunately they're just dying to Foppy is, I kind of think, where it all kind of slowly falls apart. Koreki tries to get in there, Yak misses the power clam, unfortunately, and then everything's just in a little bit of an awkward spot. Spec able to pick it up, but not able to throw it back in time. And that's kind of all she wrote. A little bit of a series of unfortunate events there at the end for UT Knoxville.
And UT Knoxville or the Utopian title Krakens, at that point, as you noted, it had to be desperation at that point. You had to get a push and just at least extend overtime, keep a good leash on them. But UC Splatoon, well, they had a huge lead. They could feel very comfortable. Just try not to do anything silly is always the phrase I'd like to use in that scenario there, Toma. When you have a huge lead, you don't want to try to give it up too quickly. And UC Splatoon, I gotta give them a lot of credit. Very disciplined play throughout this entire set. Yes, Game 5 may have slipped by them, but they pretty much had a good stranglehold on that. A few good ideas from UT Knoxville. I feel like we've said that almost throughout the entire set so far, with all the ideas that they tried to execute. It just did not pan out when they needed it to. And we get to see Splatoon 1 move on to the next round, and that's gonna be the end of the playoff run for Utopian title Kraken. Falco, that was quite the set we watched, despite the scoreboard being 5-1.
I know, and I feel like we've said this a few times, but especially during this set, there were so many times where UT Knoxville were so close. And Toma, we were on the mic together, we were watching when they dominated their set that they played a few weeks ago. They just dominated on stream, and here we could kind of see them on the other side of things where they were struggling a little bit. You know, they had their time to shine, but there were definitely moments where we're like, oh, they could get this, they could get it. No, so close. But that Rainmaker game, the Humpback Rainmaker game during Game 5, we're like, yes, this is where they need to turn it around. Winning Game 5, of course, you know, they probably wish they would have won a little bit earlier than the end, but, you know, hey, it was what happened, so there's really nothing we can do about that, or they could do about that too. And, I mean, Splatoon White, very, very dominant performance, Toma, and they're moving on to the semifinals.
Yes, they absolutely are. Like you said, a really, really great performance out of them here tonight. You can definitely see why they were, you know, so strongly favored in that group, going 4-1 out of their group into a playoffs. And it shows that, you know, hey, you may be 5-0 but you can't count some of these 4-1 teams out. Just because they have a loss on the board doesn't mean they're not going to be sending you home with your first.
Yeah, certainly. And Keon, they're going to be facing CSULB Black. So this is going to be quite the team that they're going to be going up against in the semifinals in round 2. Of course, they beat UNM Esports 5-1 during their round 1. So a lot of exciting stuff happening here in Division 3 playoffs.
You know, so the funny thing, Falco and Toma, is that these 4-1 teams, you do not want to count them out upon. CSULB Black is the second place team actually out of Group 2, where they actually went on tiebreakers actually with a 3-2 record over UNM Esports. And look at that scoreboard right there, 5-1. You noted there too earlier. Don't count out the teams that have a loss on the board. They are still very strong teams you have to respect. And this Division 3 has gotten very fascinating, to put it that way. So I want to see how the rest of Division 3 shapes up in the coming weeks, because this could be quite the story out of Division 3 here for a lot of teams, for some of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and what's even more exciting is there are 2 other matches going on here at the same time here on CCA, one on the CCA Twitch channel and one on their YouTube channel as well. Coming up soon, we are going to have the Farmingdale Esports team take on Ark Halley. This is going to be an exciting matchup. Once again, it is a team who finished 5-0 in their groups versus a team who finished 4-1. But you guys don't go anywhere. You are watching our CCA broadcast here on SplatoonTourney. At the top of the hour, we will get ready with our next set. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our broadcast here of CCA on SplatoonTourney. My name is Falco, once again joined here with Toma and Keone. So, hey, we saw an amazing set here in our first broadcast, ending 5-1, but we are ready for a Division 4 matchup between the Farmingdale Esports team versus UT Dallas Ark Halley. This is going to be another amazing matchup. Farmingdale Esports 5-0 going into the playoffs, or UT Dallas Ark Halley 4-1. And let's take a look at the Division 4 bracket going into this. So the winner of this still to be determined who they will face, but of course, it's all going to be very exciting. A best of 9 set here tonight on our CCA broadcast, Keone, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great.
This is the remaining Division 4 matchup that we had because something that just dawned on me was that we already saw 2 Division 4 matchups earlier, and they just went final. Hopefully, we get to see a very fun one. I'm gonna need a few seconds here. What am I looking at exactly?
This is... Okay, we're looking at
right.
wrong teams.
Okay.
Also, like, that might be the most, like, okay, I get it if you're, like, playing on, like, 9, right? And you bring that out after the set is done. But I was about to be like, oh my god, that is ballsy. Like...
Okay, you know what? We are not in the Play 09 CCA tradition shenanigans. I thought we were also operating on reverse order here, Toma. I was on the same boat as you were on that one. Now I can rewind back here. Set the stage for you guys here real quickly for this one. We actually just had UGA Red and Kraken Cove. That said, by the way, which was on the CCA YouTube earlier. That went final. That covered the top half. The bottom half, I believe, just went final literally seconds ago, and that was Grizzco Gators versus Champlain Seafoam. On that same bracket, we get the remaining Division 4 matchup, and Farmingdale Esports, which I'll cover right here, gave me. I had the pleasure to commentate this team against UGA Red in the regular season. That went to a Game 7. So this is a very strong team. As you know, with the results. that won that one by the end of things. I want to see if Ark Halley, though, on the other side, can give them a run of their money.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it as well, and can't count them out. Like we said last game, the 4-1 team was victorious over the 5-0 team, so Farmingdale Esports may not have, had any losses within their group, but potentially could be seeing a run for their money from Ark Halley coming out, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be bringing to the table. Probably not quad arrow spray, but I did see a tri-stringer load in before, and I know I'm looking at their common weapons throughout this season that a tri-stringer is likely to make a reappearance, and it certainly is. I will always hype up that weapon. It's a lot of fun to see, and we also see double Nautilus coming out from the, or double Splatling coming out from the side of Farmingdale.
I actually don't mind Farmingdale's setup whatsoever here. Nautilus and Hydra, not bad picks. Squiffer, normally I'd see the Squiffer in one particular competitive Splatoon team. I'm glad it's making its appearance here. They do have the V shots, and they do have a lot more aggressive frontliner, excuse me, from that side. I like what UT Dallas has, though. They got a little bit more of a balanced setup there with the Wiper and the Slosher to boot. Of course, we will hype up the Tri-Stringer. I'm with you on that one there. But unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna be too hyped up there, as they're on a delayed 3 situation at this stage. Farmingdale Esports winning out some of that fight. They do have a special that's available. They're gonna pick up this Rainmaker right out of the gate. Ultimate question becomes, which side do they want to push it to? They're gonna push it up to the left-hand side. The safe checkpoint to clear. They did just that.
They were able to get that checkpoint cleared with less than a minute into this game. They do have a Booyah Bomb online, but it looks like the splashdown is just there, ready to go. But they had a member behind Keon, able to pick up that Rainmaker, able to take it straight to that pedestal. What in the world happened there?
If we have a replay, this is going to take a lot of seconds, because that, Toma, is a classic case of things went from 1 to 100 in a hurry after the first checkpoint got cleared. I have to keep an eye here. I don't even think it was like a full, like, 2, 3, or even a full wipeout situation that even occurred. It just happened, like, it was almost a blink and you miss it moment, right out of Farmingdale Esports there. What a statement win. And yeah, we're gonna get the replay that actually just goes all the way back to the first checkpoint there to start. The first checkpoint was really easy. I feel like we gotta keep a close eye on where UT Dallas was the entire way through, or Ark Halley, that is. I wonder if they were just trying to chase them off from behind here. That looked like that exactly looks like what it is. They said they invested everybody else into miss around this area. 3 members overcommit on this side, and Farmingdale Esports even recognized it there too, Toma, and it just led to pretty much one of the quickest wipeouts I think we have seen so far, as we do get to see those key moments.
Oh my gosh, Keon. And I think that, excellent play from Farmingdale to notice that, hey, we have 3 members of Ark Halley behind us. Like, we don't really need to waste any time taking fights, because as long as we paint and we move forward, like, they're not going to be catching up to us in time. And especially now, thanks to that uninkable area previously, now being able to have ink, it made that push so much faster, and it was really unforgiving of a mistake. And Ark Halley was just not able to recover in time. But now going out here to game 2, seeing the loadouts pretty much mostly, I think that's exactly all the same. Loading out here, we're gonna see how they're gonna be able to pick this up, how they're able to change up their game here for Clam Blitz. This isn't gonna be quite as runaway of a game, I would bet. As they are in the mid right now, just trying to find this opening, trying to find that Clam economy and get some good picks out.
I don't think, as you know, this is going to be a quick 1-0 to 100 unless something goes disastrously wrong on defense. Right out of the gate, and that is a Trizuka that gets instant value. Right out of the gate, gets 2 picks, and maybe they get able to get 3rd on the top. But can they get a 4th pick there? No, they end up losing the fight to the Sasha there on David's end. They did clear up a little bit more space, but by the end of things, it looks like it's still back to the usual team deathmatch. It looked really stylish at the end of it, but didn't quite amount to, most importantly, the objective. So things kind of slowing down there, trying to build the advantage. The thing I will note, though, from Ark Halley, you mentioned that they mentioned it was similar weapons across the board. Farmingdale Esports keeping the flexing a little bit with the Slosher. We got dueling Sloshers on the board. It's a Tri-Stringer, I believe the Inkline Tri-Stringer with the Chumps and the VDS being the big swap out. So very close composition-wise in terms of the concept.
Yes, yes, indeed. And right now, though, you see that Ark Halley just trying to find a way out into mid here at the moment. And you can bet Farmingdale is making that difficult with that Zuka. But the Zuka does go down when able to avoid the Splat Bomb there to create some space on the side of Ark Halley. But the Nautilus just kind of doing what Splatlings do, and that's holding down space, letting their opponents come to them. And you can see it now, 2 down on the side of Ark Halley. Now that Nautilus is going to have space to really kind of get forward. They've got this rain at their disposal whenever they're ready to start pushing towards the base of Ark Halley. Farmingdale is in a great spot. They do turn around to deal with those dualies, unfortunately, who do go get the pick there, are able to find one more, taking 2 down before they go themselves. Now, look at this purple paint going down. David's trying to find some picks. Looks like they were able to find some too. Now 2 down on the side of Farmingdale. We're going to see the situation potentially flip on its head, especially as a hammer's going in, maybe making a power clam there, but no, getting picked off underneath the basket.
I feel like we've been watching the almost team deathmatch the entire way through. As you mentioned, getting picked underneath the basket, and the attempted push from Ark Halley is shut down entirely. No more clams available. The delayed wipeout was secured. I feel like there was a few good ideas that Farmingdale Esports tried to have, just cannot get them to materialize, especially with the special advantage they had originally there. As we do see more value out of the Trizuka, gets one more onto Tacos, and unfortunately they both go down. And again, we're stuck into this trade situation where both teams can't even get a power clam for themselves. 3 minutes into this one, Toma, both teams kind of just fighting all across board to no advantage to boot, other than the one power clam that is in the Slosher's hands for Farmingdale.
Yeah, and now Farmingdale does have that 2-up situation on their advantage here. They do have this power clam up here on the railings, looking to find the dunk. They're gonna be able to do it. Looks like they don't quite have the space forward to be able to add anything onto that, so it's probably just going to be kind of a one and done here. The Hydra going to try to get the leap across, but not able to add anything, and unfortunately goes down for that. Now it's going to give Ark Halley some more space to work here with. They do have a pity clam now at their disposal. 1 minute and 30 seconds all left on the clock. All they need to do is be able to break that basket and add 1 extra small clam. Not too big of an order, but they need to find the picks to do so.
Yeah, and the important thing for Ark Halley is they got 3 specials that they can take advantage of. I believe the chumps are available on top of this too, just to add a little bit of displacement. Wavebreaker just got used. All the specials were used in this push, but all they get is the Hydra. They take out the shot on top of it, and that's 3. That's 3 down. And do they have that power clams available? Not yet. They're gonna be throwing up the clams. Excuse me. They break through the barrier here. They get 1 clam, and that is an important lead change. They break this down. 56 points remaining, and now they got even more being pushed in here. Toma, things again going from 0 to 100, but this time in favor of Ark Halley. For this particular push, they got 39 seconds left. They can now, this we could say is a pretty somewhat comfortable lead here, but don't count on Farmingdale just yet. We already saw them trying to build up the space and trying to make something work for their team. They've almost done it so far. They got a Buoy Bomb ready to go if they want to take advantage.
Yeah, Ark Halley waiting for the absolute right moment to get that push together, and that was huge. Going down to 38, it's going to take a substantial amount of clams on the side of Farmingdale Esports to be able to get this lead. They do have 2 down. The man advantage is on their side. The special advantage is currently on their side with this Booyah. Mist is coming in here, going to break that basket.
Oh, no.
Are on their side. They have taken the lead with 1 second left there.
Oh, no.
The white. They are going to be facing overtime here, but they have to get all the way across this map, Keon, and they have to have a power clam ready to dunk to boot. They won't get through all the penalties, so they'll need to have a little bit extra to add, but they are quickly running out of time. We see that overtime timer ticking down, the game tape flashing across the screen. Farmingdale was able to take that back from the brink of disaster.
That was near disastrous right at the end of that one, but they kept their calm and they were able to run that one back when they needed to. There were a lot of things that happened that made this push count. More importantly, the staggered down situation from Ark Halley made that more difficult. So we do get to see the fist bump on screen for Farmingdale Esports. A little bit of style there to boot, and I like to see how that push played out and there, which we will. This is where the lead gets changed up there. The trip strikes got used. We're going to be starting off here with the Treasure going down, and that is the Slasher that had trip strikes that were available, quickly going down. Then the Wiper on the right hand side to boot. So already the rest of Ark Halley has been staggered at this stage. They take out the VDS. This is just the response just do not favor them whatsoever. Farmingdale gets all the space in the world. 2 power guns got thrown in. They had the Inkstorm there too, just kind of deter UT Dallas just by a tiny bit. Even though they got wiped out at the end, you noted it there earlier in that finishing call. They had to run across to the other barrier, and it looked like they took a little bit of extra time. It feels like trying to see who's going to pick up the clam. There might have been a bit of a miscommunication trying to figure out who wanted to jump that clam in. But by the end of it, though, Ark Halley down 0-2 in, to be quite frank, kind of devastating fashion.
Absolutely, Keon. Like, oh, it pained me to see that wipe happen, and I knew as soon as I saw Mist up there, I saw that they had man advantage. I saw that Booyah Bomb was online and that Power Clam connected. I was like, oh no, it was just the worst possible outcome for Ark Halley there. But really well played by Farmingdale. They took note of the exact positions they needed to be in. They waited for the right moment to push that. I think if they had pushed it any earlier, then you may have run into a lot more resistance from Ark Halley, may have potentially lost that special or lost something else that could have cost that push. So everything was just banking on the right timing. Coming out now, we're going to see that just red ringer coming out on the side of Farmingdale. That reef slider, of course, notorious for reef cheese here on splat zones. Not quite as strong as Kraken cheese, but there'll always be some sort of cheese here in this game.
You know what? I appreciate a little reef slider cheese every once in a while, especially in zones. But unfortunately, that reef slider is just going to be the reef slider economy as it quickly shut down. And it feels like Ark Halley, even with the devastating loss, they seem to be no worse for wear so far. They're actually doing just fine. They are able to take out multiple members in that front. More importantly, doing a quick breakdown of the weapon changes. Swiffer and Dreadbringer on Farmingdale Esports, as you know, there too. Reef Slider Cheese, very eminent. They get a lot of zones cap if they can coordinate their specials correctly. But the Slosher, that is an important 2 pick for the Slosher and the assist on top of this. And Ark Halley keeps control of the zone.
And they were able to keep control over that through a Reef Slider and Booyah Bomb combo, Keon. They just timed that perfectly. Here now, 30 seconds remaining. If Farmingdale can't get back in on this next push, it's over. This game will end there. You just need to mount that defense on the side of Ark Halley, and they're trying to here. They're going to be surviving that Reef Slider. The Booyah Bomb coming out a little bit too late after 2 down on the side of Farmingdale. They need to cap the zone here, Keon. If they can't, this might be the end, and it looks like it is going to be, as Ark Halley is going to take this game in a very convincing 100-0 push.
From 2 devastating losses, because the first one was when they were caught way out of position. The second one, losing the lead in the critical moments. Ark Halley says, we're having none of that. We're going to take you home from minute 1. And again, I feel like the play of that particular map was the double pick from the Slosher that just that allowed that zone to be capped the entire time. That was critical there because they were to take out 3 on top of this. As you do get to see actually just really the waning seconds of this push. You noted there too, they lived through a Reef Slider Booyah Bomb combo that in most cases will cap the zone at that particular time, but they were able to survive that. We do get to see the Reef Slider. Now, this Reef Slider here does not rush across the other side of the zone, which could have been the cap at that point in time. And the Booyah Bomb comes in a little too late after the zone is capped. So you get all purple ink in that zone the entire way through. You get 2 down to also to make things a little hurt even more. The delayed wipeout effectively is GG well played. Ark Halley could have not played that any better than they could have in that particular map.
Absolutely. And now, Keon, we are treading into Manta Maria Tower Control. And let me tell you a little secret that I know here about Ark Halley. What they have had a 100% win rate so far this season on Tower Control. It is their best mode by far. So having all of that wind in their sails now going into their best mode, they have the potential to bring this to a tied set here in Game 4.
I would love to see if they can keep that 100% win rate there, but if there's a team that can do it, as we saw in the first 2 already, Farmingdale Esports, you cannot count them out just yet. And I gotta talk about Ark Halley though, because most teams, this is where you get a test of how good your team is in terms of all the punches that are thrown at you. When you lose in such devastating fashion in Game 2, things can quickly fall apart. that reset it almost didn't feel like, they felt like that reset was almost speed ran the entire way through. They were quick refocus, quickly shutting down all the opposition from Ark Halley. And it feels like if you carry that same momentum to that tower control map, which we're about to see right here, we can see a tide step coming up, but they gotta carry that momentum onto this upcoming round. I feel like Farmingdale Esports realized, okay, we gotta change things up now. The V-Shot's back in town. I believe switching, just flexing over to the other tri-stringer for Taco for this particular map. Those are the weapon changes we're seeing here in this man's tower control map coming up.
Absolutely, and I think those, are the right call. You've got the trip strikes from that bucket, and that whale going to be a lot stronger of a special for the bow than the chumps. Right now, though, you see the bucket, they're going to get an early pick there, trying to stay alive here, but is ultimately going to be taken down, as it looks like Ark Halley is starting to get a good control here in mid. David is there sharking that wall, and it looks like they didn't know either, so now David's got a great position up in their bunker, as Ark Halley is going to begin pushing this tower. David finds a great pick. That's going to be the full wipe onto Farmingdale, going here into a very important checkpoint too, like we said, the most important part of this map. They're going to be starting with a full wipe in their sails, going to be poking at that squiffer there on the side. There goes that checkpoint. Roy trying to stay alive through these tri-stringer and the whale coming down, and this tower is starting to slide out of control. 3 down from Farmingdale. This is disastrous.
This is absolutely disastrous because they just cleared the 3rd checkpoint and they're trying to get, and this is Farmingdale Esports. They're playing desperate defenses, but it's not going to be there. And Toma, this has been a very different Ark Halley team coming to this one. The 100% win rate in tower control continues to stay strong, and boy, did it stay strong the entire way through. A 2-2 set, and I feel like we are witnessing a very different Ark Halley team compared to the first 2 games.
Well, I'm like looking back at those first 2 games too, Keon. You had game 1 where it just kind of seemed like an unfortunate, we didn't have eyes on that Rainmaker. And the second game was pretty close. They almost took it back. But now, since game 3, it has just been dominating. Here you see just so much pressure that they've got on forcing Roy to fall down. The tri-stringer pellets land on them. You've got the shot trying to come in, but you've just got everybody looking at the right spots. They know where those defensive positions are. The tri-stringer does such a good job at just dancing this tower. And even when they eventually do go down here to the bomb, right, you've got another member of Ark Halley just ready to slide in onto that tower to take their place. The coordination is so much better here, and you can see now why they've earned their spot here in playoffs.
This Ark Halley team is just turning it up 2 games in a row, and you know there too. The team that finished by the way 2nd in their group in Group 1 of Division 4. They're up against the Farmingdale Esports, which by all metrics, really one of the best teams coming out of Group 4. All things considered, the #1 team out of that, and they have tied up the set 2-2. This is a very tough Ark Halley team that we are seeing right then and there. And right now, this coordination again, there too. Maybe they should have had eyes on the Rainmaker in game 1. They cleaned that up. Game 2, yes, things slipped a bit, but then we have witnessed 2 100-0 victories so far. And for Farmingdale Esports, which coming into this humpback Rainmaker, you now have to start thinking, what on earth has changed from Ark Halley's offense that we have to now consider? Maybe that slosher that from David, I believe, from Ark Halley's side is gonna be the member you're gonna have to keep eyes on, because they have found so much value out of that slosher the entire time and time again. And Farmingdale Esports, I feel like, is gonna have to find ways to shut that down.
Absolutely, and I mean, Keon, we're looking into both humpback Rainmaker and barnacle clams, both of which are really, really strong bucket maps. So you've got to look at dealing with David to make sure that this set doesn't quickly snowball out of your control. We saw that Rainmaker game, like I said, the first time, but I'm not really sure if that's a good indicator to think about what's going to be happening here when we see another Rainmaker game being played. I think that Ark Halley is going to be much more prepared to be like, hey, remember guys, let's not all be in the exact same place. We need to have somebody standing in between the Rainmaker and the pedestal, and I'm sure we're going to see that adjustment made this time. But right now, these opening fights are going to go down here around mid. The sloshers on both sides just trying to put out as much pressure as they can. We do see David is going to go down there, followed by the Wiper, as Farmingdale Esports is going to find a little bit of solid ground to work with as they pick up that Rainmaker, but then as soon as they pick it up, going to be dying to a splat bomb from Rhubarb there.
Yeah, Rhubarb with a well-placed splat bomb that at least shut down what could have been a sensible push from Farmingdale. As this is now turning into a 2-for-1 trade, but they are going to be able to neutralize that big time. And again, we're seeing a lot of fights that's just happening right around mid. Nobody really having any sort of control in Humpback Rainmaker to boot. I like to see again though, David playing on another level, gets another pick on top of it. The trip strikes being dished out. What I saw were jumps, but it looks like they're not able to get value right out of the gate. That's gonna be fine. Lead change again, inconsequential at this stage in the game, but they're able to take out 2 for 2. Is gonna be the current setup right now. They are gonna be playing this one a little bit safe, trying to see if they can set up for paint. Jasmine needs to find the pick, but not able to find it there either. The jumps also punished. This has been a very hectic minute and 20 seconds I've seen so far. No checkpoint has been cleared.
No, and the Rainmaker does go down, unfortunately, there in the pit. Rhubarb going to be jumping in and trying to see if they can pick it up, but Jasmine getting a key pick there to stop Ark Halley from just snowballing it here into this corner. Now they're set up in a lot better defensive position, going to be poking at Taco and David there, forcing them to kind of fall back a little bit, but David not wanting to give up that space, looking at Rat Boy there, trying to find the pick, is able to find it. Now Ark Halley's in a good offensive position once again. Jasmine backed up into the corner. The question is if they know Jasmine is there. Looks like a few bucket shots were thrown there, and yes, they do find Jasmine in the corner. They just need to pick this up. Kind of stuck in that little bit of an awkward corner, but now they have that space. The strikes are going to come out to try to delay things, but it looks like David is now going to try to create that opportunity. Taco is going to be able to find the break.
Yeah, that's a much-needed break there. Feels like it's been a while since I've seen the first checkpoint be cleared around more than 2 minutes into this one. And Farmingdale Esports has cleared out everybody from UT Dallas's end. And I don't know if Miss was trying to be bold with that jump. I think that they might be looking to reset that one there for a few months, or you can't even make it to that side. I don't think it's gonna matter too much though. Ark Halley goes 2 down. Make that a delayed 3. What is I'd like to know what Miss is gonna try to do there. Okay, now thinking back at it, so a little indecisiveness that we are seeing so far. This is buying a little bit of time for Ark Halley to get themselves reset again. They realize, okay, now we can just get the right checkpoint. This is gonna be a little bit more sensible for us. And now both checkpoints are cleared. It's Splatoon 2 gameplay the rest of the way for both teams. As we do see okay, again, the quick lead just by picking up the Rainmaker and moving a few more inches or centimeters to say, but the rest of Farmingdale Esports is wiped out. Ark Halley with a critical stop. They're trying to set themselves up again.
Yeah, and that wipe could be dangerous here. Like we said, this can snowball fast. They have to watch behind them, though. The Rainmaker does fall to a flank. Now David and Rhubarb are just going to try to stall as much time, allow some jumps in. You can already see one's coming in there in a mid as David is pressuring Jasmine over that corner. Rhubarb doing a great job at holding space there in the corner. Looking at Roy Boy there too, and Rat Boy, who are just trying to survive, unfortunately going down the bombs. They do find the pick on the Rainmaker though before eventually going down. Farmingdale is able to get these stops, but how long can they hold on to it? This is just a matter of getting around that corner key. On a 2-point lead is absolutely nothing on this map. It can evaporate in an instant. You've just got to wait for the right play, and unfortunately it looks like Ark Halley's just staggering in a little bit too much right now.
This has been a match that has been all over the board. You noted there too, just a little bit of staggers left and right, which is not giving Ark Halley some time to even extend, to even get the lead back. And the Rainmaker's been picked up here. Ark Halley's gonna quickly pick this one up again. Though they're getting picked left and right. And now Farmingdale Esports at least can try to play defense, but it's a very risky decision that you can make at that point in time because it is not a safe lead. It's sort of just the first checkpoint and then maybe moving up a few squids to get the lead back the other direction. Miss picks up the Rainmaker and they have to just kind of run and retreat, but they take 2 members out. That is gonna be nice, but they're running into the Wiper. The Wiper finally drops. It's a 2 down the situation there. Farmingdale Esports still somehow, in some way, both teams have gone 2-2 in this front. I'm gonna need some time to collect myself here. Tola, 13 seconds left to go. Ark Halley with one last push left in the tank, what it feels like.
They need to make sure that they don't get somebody behind them. One pick there onto the bucket is going to be huge. They just need to get around this corner.
No.
They did lose one person. There goes the lead, and that's the game to Ark Halley.
Again, that was not a safe lead by any metric. I've noted there too. You clear the checkpoint, you can move a few steps up, but that 2-point lead is not remotely safe whatsoever. All that Ark Halley need to do, peek around the corner. It's an easy lead change the entire way through. Then you can just return back if you wanted to do so. And again, and we saw what was basically just such a slogfest of a matchup there in Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker, a lot more evenly match to boot, as we are going to be seeing the replay. This is the one I needed to get a few seconds on to see how this goes, because both members are going down left and right. It really just boiled down to is, I believe, the inking that was already there from UT Dallas's end. Yes, it was 1-for-1 on both sides, but look at the amount of green ink that was already there to begin with. And Farmingdale Esports, the entire way through, trying to find an avenue in, and that's a nice pick on the Roy Boy, and that because that Sasha could have been very threatening the entire way through, and that is just so much space. Look at the difference here. Just wrapping yourself around the corner to get the easy lead change that you could ask for, and you don't even need to move too far up if you wanted to at that point. Look at that second by second breakdown there, and that's all you needed. You didn't need to move up too far up to get the overtime chance. And that was a back and forth game. It really boiled down to a game of inches, and UT Dallas won that one.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about knowing how the points count down on this map, Keon, because if you had tried to take a wider angle around that wall, who knows, you may not have seen that lead flip, but they knew, like, hey, if I stick right around this corner, I'm going to get more than 2 points over there. I'm going to find that lead there, so I just need to hug that wall, and not only does it count the points faster, it's a lot better defensive terrain for them. They have a big wall blocking basically every single shot coming at them, so why risk, exposing themselves more for less points?
Incredibly so, because this is one of the rare games, it feels like, where it really just boiled down to where that Rainmaker was at that checkpoint, literally in the final seconds. I don't think I've seen that. It feels like it's been a while since I've seen that in any tournaments that I've done so far for Humpback Rainmaker, because usually when you see that first checkpoint, it's just an immediate move forward and just get as many points as you can. Both teams just had, it was almost a struggle for both teams the entire way through. UT Dallas gained that last laugh there. So I'm seeing 3 maps in a row for Ark Halley. Farmingdale Esports still needs to find a way to recapture that magic right now, coming into this Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz match here, where, again, things can get a little stally and both teams are just going to keep fighting over each other. And what we've seen so far away from the set is they're not afraid to fight. They're willing to see if they can find picks left and right. This map, the way it's shaped, though, could deter a lot of fighting as much as they can, but I wouldn't be surprised if both teams just kind of is going to have a brawl in the middle of this map.
Absolutely, and I think it's critical for Farmingdale to be able to find the win here. If they don't, then you have, after this, you have Zones and TC, which were both modes that Ark Halley won very, very convincingly. So you cannot let the set slip away from you here coming into this game on Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz. Coming out here, we're seeing the Wiper mirrored on both sides, and we actually, quad golden arrow spray, maybe not, but we are gonna see one coming out on the side of Ark Halley.
We like to call it this from my very close group of friends, a little bit of a rat gaming, if you will, with the gold spray to boot. I feel like this is just gonna be a Booyah bomb machine basically being built on the side of it, and I feel like that's not a bad choice at all. In the grand scheme of things, zoning out the rest of Farmingdale Esports, make sure you get total control of their territory right there, trying to see if they can secure a lot of jumps. And so far, Farmingdale Esports just losing members left and right, and this is already a power plant that's already being spawned in. The Wiper is able to shut that one down, and now the alternate Sam has been dished out on top of it. There's still a little bit of an opening. They're gonna have to defend this with all their might. They take 2, that's 3 down on top of this, and this push should very well be shut down at this stage. This is gonna be the retreat from Spirit G on the Wiper there on top of it. Almost a good looking push that was built from UT Dallas Ark Halley, and all that resulted to was a push that was shut down from Farmingdale.
Yeah, I think that Tri-Strikes just popped a little bit too late. It allowed Farmingdale to get in there and find the stop to that push before it was really able to take root. It just kind of shows, how those decisions and timing on the specials matter. Every single second counts, and they were able to force Ark Halley back. Now you got this neutral game once again, but look at the clam economy right now. Pretty clearly in Ark Halley's favor right now at the moment, and they have these specials online. The hammer coming in, finding 1, finding 2, gonna be going into that base, finding a third, but no, it's the third on Ark Halley that actually goes down, and as soon as they gain that space, they're gonna be forced to give it up once again. David, though, is up here on this right-hand side, and you see that Farmingdale a little bit slow on the respawns to be able to get back into mid. So Ark Halley was able to get all their players back in and really lost minimal space off of that push.
Yeah, and the big thing you now have to respect out of Ark Halley, of all the members I'm keeping an eye on, is that gold spray that is deployed, because that's a lot of ink that you can put down on turf again to farm Booyah Bomb and then just assert total control. Farmingdale Esports are gonna have to play the game where which Booyah Bomb is gonna give more value the other way, and so far it's looking to be advantage Ark Halley. There's the Ultra Stamp from the sun, and it slams down Rhubarb. Rhubarb has been stamped and mailed out of this session, as we do get to see the Wiper lurking large. Again, the same idea happened there. UT Dallas was trying to build, has already built up a lot of territory with the gold spray and the Booyah Bomb assist, and again it led to a push that was shut down the same way from Farmingdale Esports. Farmingdale Esports is doing a great job on defense the entire way through, despite the dangers that were lurking ahead from UT Dallas.
Yeah, now Farmingdale with this the Zipcaster and the Booyah out, maybe finding their first opportunity to take space. So just as soon as I say that, the Wiper is gonna go down. The two Splat Leagues are gonna try to hold as much space as they can in mid, but unfortunately losing that Wiper and now the Brush takes away a lot of their pushing power. These Splat Leagues really good at holding space, but not quite as great as taking it themselves. Although, who needs to take space if you just run straight into the Nautilus? Nautilus there from Ratboy going to be holding down this mid, making sure that Farmingdale doesn't really get pushed too far back into our disadvantageous position. They've now got their players on the respawn. They've got them forward. Jasmine is going to be looking forward to try to take some picks, but unfortunately is going to go down. And now they don't. They take 2 down, make that 3 down on the side of Ark Halley. Just killing. This is so back and forth. Just a minute left in this game, and neither team has been able to break the basket so far.
So I'm gonna dish out a little trivia for your Toma here. The last time we are about to see this as a wipeout has just occurred. This is gonna be total territory control for Ark Halley. The last time that Farmingdale Esports was in Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz happened to be a 6-minute OT game against UGA Red in the regular season. There are no strangers to this whatsoever, but we're not gonna be seeing it right out of the gate as the first push is in and the wipeout is there from Farmingdale Esports. Ark Halley will be able to cash in on this push big time. That entire defense finally collapsed like a deck of cards. 53 points remaining, and the Ultra Stamp is available from UT Dallas if they want to take advantage, but they think they're going to hold on to it for just a few seconds longer. That is a huge lead, but UT Dallas is also bleeding out members. Taco wisely retreating back. This is now they can play defense for 20 seconds, but there is a pity clan that is available, and it has been picked up here, Toma.
Yes, it's huge for them, but now they have to get so much space. Look at all this purple on the map ahead of them. Ark Halley has excellent peak control of the map at the moment. That early rain not going to be doing too much into providing their way in. The Wiper unfortunately going down, now just leaving that Hydra with the Booyah Bomb, and 2 down on the side of Farmingdale Esports. The early pop from the Booyah Bomb means that they're not going to have much in the tank left to get forward, and now they're forced further back into their base. About half that overtime eaten through, and they need to get across, dunk it, and let the basket break happen, and it just isn't going to happen in time. Kion, that is going to be Ark Halley pushing this set to match point.
I'm just done to the last time I had to cast an Arrow Spray victory would just be dating back to when I had casted Ludi Division X semifinals a long time ago when Silver Spray won that one in Tower Control Hagglefish. This time I get to witness a Gold Spray victory for UT Dallas and Ark Halley, winning this one over Farmingdale Esports in Barnacle and Dime Clams. And the best part about this Arrow Spray pick, Toma, is it is just lethal if you let this Gold Spray do Gold Spray things with the Booyah Bomb. We're going to get to see the game-winning push here from the rest of the group. Again, everybody is spawned up, but this is a lot of territory that has been painted down. There's that Booyah Bomb. I noted there too. Yes, your Gold Spray went down, but you gave enough space and the trip strikes of safety to boot, and everybody was crying around the trip strikes, I believe, Toma, a little too closely, and that is how things just fell apart so fast in a blink of an eye from Farmingdale Esports, and that's really the only push of the game, but it's the one that counted.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, Keon. You have to be really careful, especially on those games, like we said, where it was just 4 straight minutes of back-to-back attempted pushes, but no one quite being able to find that basket opening. It means that every mistake becomes more important, and the ability to capitalize off your opponent's mistakes is really what makes the difference between getting it in and not. And Ark Halley really capitalized. They saw Farmingdale grouped up. They said, this is the time. We're going to group them up. We fire everything we've got at their location, and we do it now. And that's exactly what they were able to do.
I'm just happy for the most part that they were able to get as much painting down as they can. We got to see almost a back and forth battle the entire way through, and Farmingdale Esports were basically no strangers to long Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz matchups. Again, I'm going back to that matchup against UGA Red in the regular season. Me and Nito got to cast a 6-minute overtime match in Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz, but I was like, in the back of my mind, like, are we about to witness it in real time? And Ark Halley just decided to squash those dreams right then and there, and you had to at that point too. If you're on a team, you do not want to play in a slugfest that just goes on and on and on. And hey, that push aided by the trip strikes, the buoy bomb, ultimately the push that won it all there for UT Dallas. And for Farmingdale Esports, now coming into ship-shaped zones, this is now do or die. You're going to have to win the next 3 if you want to win the set. And we've seen a lot of problems from Farmingdale, minus maps 3 and 4. I'd like to see if they have any strategical adjustments dealing with David and the rest of this team coordination. And this is almost a wholesale weapon change here on the side of Farmingdale Esports. Ark Halley is just going to stick to what has worked for them, because why not? If it worked before, why not keep it the same?
Exactly, and I think that they're desperately looking for a solution here, and I think one of the things, range that they've been trying to deal with, Ballpoint can really help to address that. It's got fizzy bombs, which are really across that zone, which becomes a choke point there in the middle and can apply a lot of pressure, and they're going to be trying to use that to their advantage, but unfortunately going an early 3 down now is going to give Ark Halley a lot of space to work with. They have to find that ballpoint up there in the corner. It looks like they forced them to fall into that pit and are able to get a pick on them. Now you've got this tri-stringer, the Inkline with the chumps up and ready to go, looking for the right time to pop them, to add just some support and some extra space for their team to be able to take. A hammer, you see, works its way through the zone as the trip strikes come out, but Ark Halley's ready and just able to paint over it. 2 down on their side. This is Farmingdale's time to get in here and get this zone capped.
You're gonna need to get this zone cap right now, at least force penalty, but Ark Halley is making that very difficult for them. Yes, you end up losing the zone and the grand scheme of things, so look at how long it took for Farmingdale Esports to get the cap, but now you gotta start punishing everybody else left and right. You take out the Wiper, but now you gotta make sure that the rest of the team follows suit, and the Trizuka to the face is gonna help matters there. The Ancient's been popped here from Mist on top of things, but are they gonna get anybody else? It's 2 down already, but there are 2 specials available, but I think they're gonna hold on to this line. I think they're gonna just let them get the lead here, just try to get a quick reset, make sure that everybody's back and available right now. Little David throwing out the trip strikes on top of this. This is the ult stamp. This for sure should be the zone flip. Yes, it will be. The Wiper has gone down on top of this, and Ark Halley gets his zone back. Yes, it's just 11-point deficit, but this is still very manageable and a lot of time left.
The Stringer getting the pick there was assisted by the Slosher there is huge, not letting their backline go down and making sure that you saw the rest of their team was able to kind of charge forward and address the zone, but they didn't lose sight of the Slosher. They didn't let the Slosher come from behind and just ruin their attack. Now David set up in a good position, trying to deal with this Inkjet, but unfortunately not going to be able to pick it out of the sky as everybody just converges on them. Not really going to be able to eat through their penalty. Farmingdale now has control of the zone once again, looking to try to eat through this penalty and try to establish more into their lead as they pick off this Wiper coming in. And they're in a good position now. They just have to make sure that this bucket doesn't get those picks, and David once again making it difficult for the side of Farmingdale. As now you see a 2 down on the side of Farmingdale. We're going to see Ark Halley doing excellently here. David is, of course, as always, just helping to really lead this charge.
Yeah, David has just been an absolute menace, I will say, for Ark Halley. They're just able to find a few more picks left to right. This has just been expert slosher play, and they go, and this is a 3-down situation. Farmingdale does not have any squids or man advantages available. This is going to be a quick lead change for sure on the side of Ark Halley. They got 39 points left to go on that clock, but they gotta get the zones retake then and there. But losing the slosher is not going to help matters at all. The chumps have been dished out on top of this. It's 25 points remaining. That's 2 down, and these points are going to go down in a hurry. They're going to have to use the specials here soon. The Ultra Slam has been dished out, but can they neutralize the zone as much as they can? They're able to try to throw paint all the way down to the zone. They finally take out David. This is now the critical zones cap. Farmingdale Esports get to live another day, but they gotta retain control of the zone as much as they can here at Toma. This has to be on point for Farmingdale if they want to get the lead back.
Yeah, and I think that, Ark Halley right now just needs to play this cool, calm, collected, get these retake specials up. You see the Zuka coming out on the side of Farmingdale, but it looks like he was maybe picked off by that wiper there. Farmingdale does maintain advantage here and is able to control this zone as they've eaten through their penalty. They need to keep this stagger up, and a pick onto the dualies is a great way to start it. It looks like they are in the potential to be able to flip this zone. They've got to watch out for the strikes and the chumps coming in. Ark Halley almost certainly going to be trying to move up off of that. It's going to come down to these next few seconds, these plays that come out onto the zone. The tri-stringer goes down. Rhubarb's there trading. This zone is about to flip, but no, they're able to maintain control of it. Farmingdale is going to be able to stay alive here, taking this at now 3-4.
Total, we got a set in our hands, buddy, because that was so back and forth the entire way through. I was wondering if Farmingdale Esports had the response they needed to keep this set alive for them, and my goodness, they are still staying alive. That's the important thing. They need to keep that mental sharp, because losing 4-0 can be very, very difficult. More importantly, it's a best of 9 or first of 5, and they needed to win that ship-shaped cargo zones map to stay alive in the playoffs. We get to take a look at how the rest of this played out here. It's 25 points remaining and still ticking. We do recall that Ark Halley lost multiple members during this offensive push. How did this all play out there? David is the one I was looking at, able to respect the space, but all 3 members got bunched up. And look at the side. The wiper able to get the pick on the other wiper, but the most important thing you're going to have at that point is the man advantage. You have 3 up versus 2. You can easily paint over it. You shut down the BDS. Those respawn timers are not going to favor Ark Halley in the slightest with how close that game was to knockout territory. Toma, we are still alive here in the set, and if Farmingdale Esports wants to reach the fabled Game 9, they gotta do it in this tower control map. They gotta give UTK's Ark Halley their first ever loss in tower control. This is a very tough assignment coming up.
Oh, they sure have it all. I am so excited to see how this wraps up, because I mean, just like we saw, that first Splat Zones game went to Ark Halley in a absolutely uncontested fashion. Farmingdale was not able to keep up with their offenses, and they were just completely locked out of that game. And we saw a complete 180 from Farmingdale this time on Splat Zones. They were able to hold their space a lot better. They had really good retakes, were able to get really forward with their aggression. So now the question is, can they apply that same thing to tower control here? Like you said, Ark Halley undefeated so far throughout the season in tower control, and Farmingdale has to take the win here to stay alive and force a Game 9, and that would be a historic Game 9 indeed if they're able to force it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take in this Neo Sloshing Machine choice from Royboy, which is a solid choice overall, but the most important thing, something I have realized for a while now that we haven't even noticed, that there has been a very distinct lack of coolers here. Both teams are just trying to play aggressive, but don't want to get yourself punished in such a bad position to start. And that's Ark Halley immediately going 2D, immediately go 3 down. This Neo Slosh Machine has already done work, and they've turned this into a delayed wipe. Farmingdale Esports taking this up to another gear here. Toma, they are about to be approaching the first checkpoint, but this Neo Slosh Machine is in very good position there, but unfortunately punished big time. The Trizuka not able to get as much value, but the first checkpoint should be cleared here for Farmingdale Esports.
They've got to watch out too, Keon. This is such a snowball heavy map. This machine here on the side just putting in a lot of work, but unfortunately it looks like the stop is finally going to be found there, unless this wiper has anything to say about it. The trade comes out on the tower and the jumps are coming in. It looks like Ark Halley is going to be able to recover here, isn't going to have to give up that second checkpoint quite yet, but they do still need to find a way to break into mid right now. You see it's all pretty much Lulu here, as Farmingdale Esports is still able to have control over the most of it. But David looks like they're finally going to be the answer to finding space in mid, getting a pick onto 1. Unfortunately now going down to Royboy. Royboy has been doing absolutely fantastic on that Neo machine for just creating as much space as they possibly can on the side of Farmingdale. It looks like Ark Halley's just kind of struggling to find an answer for it at the moment.
This Neo Slosh Machine pick is so smart out of Farmingdale Esports, especially if they are practiced with it the entire way through here. And because as you mentioned, as you noted before, so many picks right out of the gate, which just allowed this to push to break through the first checkpoint. But now we can see Spirit G. Can they respond with the ultra save? But 2 members are out of position for the most part. This is gonna be free points for sure for Farmingdale Esports. Yes, you go 2 down. They're gonna be content taking this down to 33 points remaining to give themselves a little bit of a cushion to boot, but they're still plenty of time for Ark Halley. You can't ignore David, who has delivered so much value on that slosher the entire time. But can they win this one? They're gonna get the assist. Actually, did they even get the assist? I'm not even sure. But they take out 2 members out of Farmingdale Esports, and now David's in very good position to try to force Farmingdale out of there. That's 2 down still, and they're just trying to win on the response. The Ultra Stamps have been popped out, but they're 2 down anyway, and the trip strikes are being dished out. Ark Halley's in great position.
And David getting a critical splat there onto the Neo machine. Now it's Card left alone here in front of here at the tower trying to defend. The lead is going to flip. This is where it can all snowball. This may be the end of your game. Look, the whale coming out, the wiper finding the pick. They need to get back on the tower. Rhubarb unfortunately going down, not able to find the pick, but Spirit G is still alive here. Still trying to keep things going, but unfortunately finally has to jump out. Down to 18, they were able to find that second checkpoint break. Now, Hyun, that second checkpoint break is really good, but we both know this is a very, very snowbally map. If they can set that Neo machine up to go on a rampage once again, you may see it flip once again, but you know, you have to make that risk now. You can't play comfortably if you're Farmingdale just knowing that you have to defend. You've got to get that lead back. And likewise on the side of Ark Halley, you cannot get too comfortable or it may cause you to take your first ever tower control L.
And the most important thing right now for Ark Halley is they got to hold this up for about 1 minute and 30 left to go on the clock. As you know there too, the second template being broken is very nice, but this is also Exhibit A of Surgeon Tower Control here, where this is a snowball for the masses. So if Farmingdale Esports, this is still maintainable at the very least. But the big thing they got to do now is see if they can build on an advantage and find the picks. You have to figure out a way to shut down David. Again, I keep highlighting David here, but we cannot understate how important David has been for the rest of Ark Halley. And again, Farmingdale Esports cannot kick it up to another gear. Anytime they approach the second checkpoint, they're shut down right out of the gate. They have to reset. It's looking really good for Ark Halley.
That defense was huge for the side of Ark Halley. Now they just need to get as much paint as they possibly can down. And I'm looking at David right now. I think David needs to make sure that they play carefully with their lives here. They have the tri-strikes ready to go. We both know how this is just the GG tower control special. They need to stay alive and keep those strikes for the right time. If they do pop them, they need to get another one up fast. 2 down though on the side of Farmingdale. Make it 3 down, just that ball point, the full wipe. This may be over. They have to come in here, they have to stop Ark Halley and then take it all the way back across the map. But look at this, it's counting down here. Here come the tri-strikes out to try to cover that tower. Rhubarb's trying to dive it, trying to keep it pushed the rest of the way. Just the ballpoint left, and that is going to be all she wrote. Ark Halley taking the set back 5-3. They're going to be advancing on to semifinals in Division 4.
Wow, that got real tense, but Ark Halley's 100% tower control win rate is still true to the bitter end of Farmingdale's side, and Farmingdale Esports 5-0 regular season, and their first loss of the season happens in playoffs where they are officially eliminated the entire way through. We're gonna get to see the replay of effectively the KO push that seals it all. Again, you have to respect the slosher's range the entire way through. That wipeout situation took out the ball point. You were already 3 down, but you need everybody to stay alive to hold firm on defenses. Everybody trying to chase back up into respawns. This is just a desperation maneuver. You know there too. The trip strikes trying to start the GG strikes of all time. And again, they had to just rush it. They had to make something happen. The bombs take out 2 of them. David, of course, rides the tower all the way home. I know we kept highlighting David but again, cannot understand how important David has been to Ark Halley's success the entire way through. But Ark Halley as a team kicked it up into gear. From games 3 and 4, they won 4 in a row. Yes, the back and forth in zones and ship shape went to the side of Farmingdale. The team overall played so well the entire set.
They absolutely did. And I mean, it shows that you, like I said before, I said it last set, these 4-1 teams, you can't count them out just because they weren't the 5-0 victor of their group. Both of the 4-1 teams here tonight were your winners, advancing on to semifinals. And I think, it shows maybe even taking a loss in groups may light a little bit of a fire in you that you're not ready to give that up. You don't want to lose again.
Falco, I feel like what we saw here today is even if you finish first in your division, you still have to beat your tougher opponents second in each group. I feel like we saw a case of it. The 5-0 team in Farmingdale Esports, which by the way, one of the better teams out of Division 4, and it ends very bitterly with a defeat in playoffs.
Yeah, and just remember, when you end 5-0 in your group, you are facing technically less than half of the teams in your division. Not by very much, but still, it's less than half of them. So Farmingdale Esports, you know, they get the 5-0, they make the playoffs. At that point, it's you make the playoffs. It doesn't matter what record you had going in. You know, typically you're 5-0 or 4-1 to get to that point. But yeah, you're facing a brand new team at this point. You're moving on, especially in your first round. You know, again, I'm not a CCA staff, but I would assume that you're facing a different position from somebody else in a different div, or you know what I mean. Like
yep.
It's a whole new ball game at that point. But going back to those games, like game 1, Farmingdale Esports, they had the cheese. They had the Rainmaker Undertow cheese where they just squeezed in there. It was really crazy. But then UT Dallas, Toma, games 3 and 4, they just dominated. It was something that we had not seen from games 1 and 2, and they kept that going on in games 5 and 6. But then, you know, game 7, Farmingdale Esports came back, and I think at the very end, you know, in Keon, you mentioned this too, Farmingdale getting their very first tower control loss in game 8. Oh, that's so rough. That's so rough. But hey, they took us all the way to game 8, which is very exciting. Something we had not seen yet here on SplatoonTourney on our CCA broadcast yet. I mean, of course, this is the first time we're doing a best of 9 at this point too, but still such a close set and a very fun set between these two teams. So Keon, final thoughts going into the next week before these teams face their opponents. How did you think tonight went for Ark Halley?
Yeah, Ark Halley, I know we talked about game 1, but this game 1, I feel like, Toma, you can probably agree with this, is that it was kind of just a complete strategical error for the most part. I feel like it wasn't representative of Ark Halley the entire time. They had the right idea on that flank, on that back line, but they committed too many members, Farmingdale Esports, right on top of it, ran that one all the way home. We saw something different in game 2 where they were back and forth, lost in the final minutes, and then Ark Halley was like, all right, we can tweak this a little bit. And this was a very different team that Ark Halley had here in the next 4 maps overall. This is a very good, I mentioned before, very good Farmingdale Esports team, but for a team whom, by the way, making their debut CCA Season 2 and just striking big against Farmingdale Esports, whom I believe this team has been in the CCA for multiple seasons at this point, is a testament to how well this team has played throughout the season. And never count out the teams that have losses in their record. Yes, you know it before. Half the you only play some of the competition from your group, but playoff CC, kind of similar to like how NBA and NHL playoffs are, completely different ball game.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what I was gonna say, I agree with you about game 1, complete just strategical error. And I think that what you see in these teams of this caliber, that UT Dallas, Ark Halley was just able to adapt. They realized that error from game 1. They said, hey, we're not gonna make that mistake quite again. We recognize what went wrong there, and we're not just gonna like make note of it. We're implementing. We're thinking. We're gonna put this into our future games throughout this set, because we can't let that affect us. We've got to come back. We've got to win this. And they did an excellent job. I'm really looking forward to see how the rest of their playoffs run goes.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun to see. And let's take a look one more time at the bracket. Of course, they're going to be moving up. They're going to be facing the winner of, I think, Grisco Gate. I don't know the names after the ellipses here. We could only get a little sneak peek here. So if anybody in chat can tell me who these teams are that they could potentially be facing, it's going to be a fun match. But then, of course, the Grisco Union is going to be moving on into the round 2 semifinals. That again, okay, thank you, DRF. The Grizzo Gators beat. Okay, they beat Champlain earlier. Okay, thank you, DRF. Thank you. They beat them 5-2. Okay, Grisco. No, I'm saying what you said originally. Grizzo. This is the head of CCA right here, so of course we're going to take his word for it. But again,
the best part. Yep.
Yeah, no, go on. Go on.
Yeah, I'll help you out here a bit here too, if you do want to go back to the bracket, because the best part here too, Falco, is those Division 4 games that we saw earlier. They actually all 3 of these Division 4 matchups have already been had just been played. All of them today, by the way. Too. We saw one in the CCA YouTube channel earlier, one in the main CCA Twitch. We just happen to be the last one here, and Kraken Cove did get, I believe, yes, they got the win over UGA Red. But by the way, that went to a game 8, so it will be Kraken Cove and Grisco Workers Junior on that side. On the bottom half, Ark Halley will take on, as you noted, Grisco Gators, which they got the 5-2 earlier today against Champlain Seafoam. They're on top of it. So Division 4 semifinals is already set. It just boils down to who's going to show up the most. And if I do want to take a quick look at the standings, but I don't know if I have that up conveniently here too, because we know there too. Don't count out the second place teams out of groups here too. Our Kraken Cove was the other team, by the way, in the same group as Ark Halley that also advanced to the next round. So Group 1 still continues to represent. Grisco Gators is your other Division 1. Same with the Grisco Union Busters. So Grisco Union Busters was the Division 4 team. Don't worry, I would have made the same mistake there too. So Ark Halley, the only 2 seed the only 2 second place team out of their group to advance. Ark Halley has a lot to prove now, but that was a great victory over Farmingdale.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, this next round is going to be over the next 2 weeks. I know that we have Low Tide City coming up. Toma and I will be there, so I think, I don't want to speak on behalf of the CCATOs, but I think they kind of made round 2 a 2-week experience, and especially in case like round 1 needed to be a little bit longer as well. So again, we will be live next Sunday on Cinco de Mayo. For our Sunday night matches, if we have any here. And, unfortunately on May 12th, we will not be live with any matches. However, if we need to be afterwards, we will be live for some CCA matches, the finals, here on SplatoonTourney. So it's been a lot of fun. So Toma and Keon, thank you for being with us tonight. Keon, thank you very much for hopping in for Saf tonight, who was busy. We always appreciate having you here. Toma, final thoughts for tonight and headed into the rest of the playoffs for Division 3 and Division 4.
Yeah, I think that the big takeaways here, is that these teams just keep that momentum going. Don't let losses get to you. We saw, really in both sets, teams take pretty blowing losses that they were able to really, really come back from. I think that kind of adaptation, not letting things get to them, really shown through tonight, really is ultimately proving why they earned those spots here. So huge congratulations to them. And I mean, the 2 teams that knocked out tonight, they still put up a hell of a fight. And I was really, really impressed from the play from all the teams here.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, here we have a 5-3 set. You could ask for 5-4, but hey, this was entertaining enough. Every game kept us on our toes, and it was fantastic. But hey, that is going to be the end of our broadcast here on our SplatoonTourney channel for CCA matches. But the CCA action is not done yet. Coming up at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time in about 30 minutes from now, we're going to have the Red Embers versus the CSULB Gold Team Division 1 match happening over on the CCA channel. So we're going to go ahead and raid them while they finish their play all 9 from their set that they have going on right now. So again, that's going to be it for us. We're going to go raid them. We're going to be signing off here. Keon, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky, Keon2570. All the nonsense I like to put up on a regular basis. Twitch, I do Twitch streaming a lot. Right now, my capture card has been on the fritz for the Switch. It's just riding the bench for a bit until I go in and probably hit a few hammers on it to get it back working. But that's where you guys can find me. Falco, once again, thanks for having me on. I know Saf has been busy tonight, so hey, Saf, wherever you are, I hope your day is going well for you.
And Tomo, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Crest of Gautier, or here at Twitch at twitch.tv/ttoma_, or in a little less than 2 weeks' time, you can find me. You can find our lovely missing Saf and Falco roaming the streets over at Low Tide City. And Falco, where on the internet can they find you?
You can find me, FalcoFlyer, on Twitch, FalcoFlyer11 on Twitter. That is going to be it for our broadcast tonight, so thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. Again, one more CCA set happening tonight. Division 1 Red Embers versus CSULB. So many acronyms here in the CCA. We love it, but it's hard to keep track of. CSULB Gold Team. They're going to go head-to-head in a Division 1 matchup, again, starting in about a half hour. So thank you guys for watching our CCA broadcast here on SplatoonTourney. We'll see you next time. Take care.